Have you ever caught a younger woman smiling at you and instantly brushed it off as nothing? What if that small gesture wasn't just about being polite, but something deeper, something instinctual? And what if understanding the reason behind that smile could completely change the way you see yourself? Let's talk about something most men ignore, yet it quietly shifts the entire dynamic between men and women. In today's video, we're diving into the subtle psychology behind why younger women smile at older men, and what that smile actually means. Because those moments, they're often packed with meaning. Far more than you might think. We'll peel back the layers and explore why these interactions happen and how, once you grasp them, they'll forever reshape how you interpret female behavior and even how you carry yourself. So stay with me through this entire journey, because by the end, you'll stop doubting yourself and start recognizing the quiet power you already hold. Let's begin with the first reason. Stability is magnetic. Most men overlook just how attractive true stability can be. While younger guys might chase thrills, charm, or physical appeal, many of them miss one of the strongest forces that truly draw women in: emotional, mental, and financial stability. A man who embodies these qualities, he stands out like a lighthouse. In a stormy sea of uncertainty, younger women may not always put it into words, but they feel it. They are naturally drawn to a man who offers calm, grounding energy. Not just money, but presence. Not just status, but composure. Let's start with emotional stability, which is incredibly rare today. In a world where many men react to life with frustration, jealousy, or insecurity, a man who keeps his cool under pressure is like a breath of fresh air. He doesn't lash out when things go wrong. He doesn't panic if a woman pulls away. He doesn't chase chaos. Instead, he carries himself with calm authority, quiet strength, a steady energy that says, "I've been through storms, and I don't break." And women notice. They can feel it: his calm, his restraint, his patience. And it makes them feel safe without even understanding why. Now let's talk about mental stability. This isn't about being the smartest guy in the room, it's about being grounded. A man who knows who he is, who doesn't react impulsively, who doesn't need constant approval. This kind of man projects inner strength, and that strength feels like leadership. It signals experience, self-awareness, and wisdom. It draws her in, not with noise, but with depth. And finally, financial stability. A lot of people think it's about wealth. It's not. It's about discipline, control, responsibility. A man who manages his money, lives within his means, and plans for the future shows that he's not just surviving, he's building. That structure, that order, it earns quiet respect. It's not the dollar amount that impresses her, it's the man's self-control. He's not addicted to highs, he's not hoping for luck, he invests in himself. That kind of man? Rare, respected, desired. Because while most young men are still trying to figure things out, reacting to life, chasing moments, a stable man moves through life with intention. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't explain. He just is. And when a woman stands next to that energy, she softens, she smiles. Sometimes she doesn't even know why. But deep down she feels it. She feels his stillness, his confidence, his presence. And that's when something shifts. So, we've just seen how stability, emotional, mental, and financial, can quietly but powerfully attract a woman. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. There's another reason that deepens this attraction, and it has everything to do with contrast. Reason 2, older men stand out because they are different. In today's world, The average younger man is often still finding his footing, grappling with confidence, direction, and emotional maturity. Many young women are used to being around these types of men. The kind who fumble through conversations, constantly check their phones, or get flustered trying to come across as witty or cool. Have you ever seen a guy laugh a little too hard at his own joke, or nervously fix his hair 5 times in 10 minutes? That's insecurity, and women notice it immediately. These men often rely on validation through likes, comments, or excessive texting. They want to impress, but they haven't yet learned how to simply be. And because they're still chasing approval, it shows in every interaction. Then she meets someone different. An older man, he doesn't fidget. He doesn't scramble for the next clever line. He doesn't try to entertain her like a performer desperate for applause. Instead, he's present. He holds eye contact. He listens, really listens. And when he speaks, it's with intention, not to impress, but to connect. He doesn't fill every silence. He allows space to breathe. He's not afraid of quiet because he's not afraid of himself. That kind of self-possession, it's rare and it's magnetic. He moves through the world like he belongs in it. Not seeking validation, not chasing approval, but choosing to engage because he wants to, not because he needs to. That quiet strength, that internal calm, it sets him apart. Where younger men might overcompensate with flashy displays or forced charm, the older man brings none of that noise. No trying, no pretending, just being. And in that simplicity, he becomes unforgettable. You see, this man doesn't panic if she doesn't text back right away. He doesn't flood her inbox with desperate follow-ups. He doesn't spiral at the first sign of rejection. Instead, he moves with purpose. And that purpose gives him presence. And that presence? It's what makes her lean in. She may not even know why she feels it, but something about him feels different. Solid, grounded, safe. She spent years surrounded by men who chase, prove, and perform. But now, she's in the presence of a man who doesn't need to do any of that, and yet commands more attention than all of them combined. It's not just his age. It's not just his success or wisdom. It's how he makes her feel. It's the contrast between chaos and calm. It's the quiet power of a man who needs nothing and therefore becomes someone she deeply wants to understand. So, as we've seen, it's not just what an older man says or does, but how he moves, how he exists in the world that draws her in. And now we come to something even more magnetic. Confidence. Reason 3. Confidence is deeply attractive. Picture this. A man stands in line at a coffee shop. He's not scrolling through his phone. He's not shifting nervously, scanning the room to see who's watching. He's simply there, calm, grounded, present. He steps forward, places his order with a slow, steady tone. Maybe gives a slight nod to the barista, then waits without impatience, without show. He's not trying to be noticed. But somehow, people notice. And a younger woman nearby? She finds herself smiling subtly, involuntarily. Maybe she doesn't even know why. But something about him feels different, solid, sure. That's the quiet power of confidence. Not the loud kind, not the flashy or arrogant kind, but the steady, lived-in confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. See, younger men are still finding themselves, still battling uncertainty, still figuring out how to be seen. But older men? They've been there. They've gone through doubt. They've made mistakes, learned hard lessons, and come out the other side. What's left is a sense of ease, like a man who's no longer trying to prove anything, That's what makes him stand out. He doesn't rush to fill silence. He doesn't explain himself 10 times to feel understood. He doesn't replay conversations in his head or worry if he said the right thing. He's present. And that presence says everything. It's not about what he wears, what car he drives, or how charming he can be in conversation. It's the way he walks into a room without needing it to validate him. It's the way he holds eye contact, not aggressively, but calmly, steady, certain. Women pick up on this instantly, even if they can't explain it. His posture, his tone, even the way he breathes, it all signals strength, safety, and control. And the most powerful part? There's no neediness. No invisible strings of desperation pulling at the edges of his actions. He's not trying to be liked. He's just being himself. And that makes him magnetic. Because most men chase attention. They try to perform, to entertain, to impress. But the most attractive men, they don't chase at all. They don't need to. Confidence, real confidence, is never loud. It's quiet, steady, rooted. It's not dominance. It's self-possession. It's knowing exactly who you are and being completely okay with it. And when a man reaches that level of self-acceptance, something shifts. He no longer seeks approval. He no longer needs to be chosen. He chooses himself, and that in turn draws others to him. So far, we've explored how confidence, true, calm, quiet confidence, has a magnetic pull. But what if there's something even deeper? Something that goes beyond energy or presence? Let's talk about the quiet allure of life experience. Reason 4. Experience is intriguing. A confident man may catch her eye, but it's the experienced man who lingers in her mind long after she looks away. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it's often not about looks. It's not about charm or muscles. It's something subtler. Something beneath the surface. It's curiosity. Something about him feels different. And she notices that in that moment. A quiet question stirs inside her. What does he know that others don't? She wonders if he might be the type of man who can actually hold a real conversation. Not just talk but connect. Not just joke but understand. He doesn't seem like someone still trying to figure out who he is. That's subtle. Awareness creates a shift. It tells her he's not operating from the same reactive, attention-seeking energy that so many younger men carry. He's not chasing likes. He's not measuring his worth by how many girls respond to his texts. You see, many younger men, especially those still building their identity, approach women with one goal: to prove themselves. They try to be funny, flashy, or impressive. They fill the space with noise. They overtalk, overpost, overdo. But the man with experience, he doesn't need to prove anything. He's already lived enough to know that real connection can't be forced. That attraction doesn't come from trying too hard. It comes from being fully present, and presence is a powerful thing. He doesn't rush. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't shrink when things get quiet. Instead, he exists with calm, with control, with perspective. And this is exactly what draws women in, whether they can put it into words or not. Because experience doesn't just bring knowledge. It brings depth. A man who has lived through real highs and painful lows carries wisdom in his silence. He understands how to navigate emotions, not react to them. He doesn't panic. He doesn't perform. He observes, listens, and responds with intention. And women feel that. Even when she doesn't fully know why, she senses something solid in him. Something safe. He listens not to reply, but to understand. He creates space for her words, without trying to dominate or impress. He knows how to be present without being overwhelming, how to see her without needing her approval. That balance, that stillness, it's rare. And it's unforgettable. That's why experience is so attractive. It's not just about knowing things. It's about having lived them. This kind of man doesn't rely on surface-level conversation or try to impress with big gestures. He brings something deeper. He's been in relationships, made mistakes, learned, grown, and he's no longer fueled by fear or insecurity. That quiet self-assuredness becomes magnetic. So when a younger woman smiles at an older man, she's not just smiling at him. She's smiling at what he represents, at the possibility that finally she's found someone who truly gets it. So when she smiles at him, it's not a reaction to a joke or a flashy gesture, it's something deeper. She's responding to his energy, his grounded presence, and the quiet question that lingers in the air: who is this man? And what would it feel like to be close to him? Reason 5. She genuinely finds you attractive. There's a widespread myth that as men age, their desirability fades. That youth is the only thing that matters, and once you pass a certain age, you become invisible to younger women. But this couldn't be more wrong. In truth, many younger women are drawn to older men not despite their age, but because of it. Experience, wisdom, composure. These are qualities that can't be rushed, and younger men are often still learning how to cultivate them. But an older man, he carries them naturally. And that's what stands out. Yes, physical appearance still plays a role, but not in the way society constantly suggests. It's not about six-pack abs or trendy haircuts. It's about maturity. It's about a presence that's felt before a word is even spoken. Salt and pepper hair, for example, often conveys dignity and life experience. A distinguished look, when paired with a sense of style and self-care, speaks volumes. A man who dresses with intention, who knows what suits him, who's not chasing trends, but wears confidence like a well-tailored jacket, immediately separates himself from the crowd. But again, it goes far deeper than how he looks. It's how he moves, how he listens, how he carries himself in a room full of noise, without needing to raise his voice. An older man doesn't seek validation. He's not fishing for compliments or approval. And that alone creates a quiet gravity. The kind of gravity that makes people turn their heads without understanding why. This is the kind of confidence that only comes from truly knowing yourself. Not pretending, not performing. Just being. Society often bombards men with the idea that aging equals decline. That desirability is a young man's game. But the truth? Many younger women are tired of the games. Tired of emotional immaturity. Tired of men who don't yet know what they want. They crave maturity. They crave depth. They crave someone who's done the inner work and who isn't afraid of silence, commitment, or truth. A man like that doesn't dominate conversations just to be heard. He doesn't need to constantly assert himself to feel seen. He knows how to hold space. He knows how to listen, and that smile she gives him, it's not about politeness. It's often about admiration, respect, genuine attraction. She sees a man who's lived life, who has wisdom in his eyes and calm in his voice. A man who has stopped chasing approval, and in doing so, becomes someone worth chasing. The real mistake, it's not in aging. It's in doubting the value that age brings. As we've just uncovered, many older men wrongly doubt their appeal, forgetting that their presence, wisdom, and self-possession are often exactly what younger women are drawn to. But now, let's talk about something more subtle, something hidden in plain sight. Reason 6. She's testing the waters. A woman's smile is rarely just a smile. It might look innocent, even casual, but behind that slight curve of her lips could lie a quiet invitation, a challenge, or a test. Most men make the mistake of reading it at face value. They either assume it means nothing, or they assume it means everything. But in truth, her smile is often a signal, a subtle way of asking, can he meet me here, in this moment, without needing to prove himself? When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it's not always something she's fully conscious of. But instinctively, she's testing him. She wants to see how he holds himself, what kind of energy he brings, whether he responds like a man or reacts like a boy. Does he smile back, calm and composed, holding her gaze just long enough to show confidence, but not desperation? Or does he look away too fast, blush, or fumble? Does he miss the signal entirely? Because in that split second, she's watching. Women are highly tuned to subtle social cues. Long before a man even speaks, she's already read the room, read his energy, and formed an impression. That smile? It's her way of gathering intel. And how he responds tells her everything she needs to know. A confident man doesn't overanalyze. He doesn't wonder if he should smile back. He just does naturally. His response is relaxed, steady, unforced. That's what passes the test. She sees that he's grounded, that he's not flustered, that he can hold tension, the quiet kind of tension that lives between two people who notice each other. That kind of presence, it speaks louder than words. But if he stumbles, if he hesitates, looks nervous, or avoids her eyes, he unknowingly signals insecurity. And just like that, the moment dissolves. She's not playing games. She's not trying to manipulate. It's instinct. She wants to know, can this man hold the weight of my attention without crumbling beneath it? Women are drawn to men who radiate quiet strength. Men who don't chase, but also don't shrink. Men who aren't performing, but are present. That's why this moment matters. When she offers a smile, she's not just being polite. She's feeling something and wondering if it's worth exploring. And if he responds in kind with that same composed energy, he affirms her curiosity. He validates the feeling she couldn't quite explain. That's the quiet dance of attraction. Not loud, not rushed, just real. And this is where many older men go wrong. They dismiss the moment. They think, she's too young, she's just being nice, and move on. Never realizing the opportunity they just let pass. But that smile? It often stems from something deeper. Admiration, curiosity, even subconscious attraction. Women may not say it aloud, but they're often drawn to confidence, stability, and experience. And those are things older men naturally possess. The only challenge is recognizing that. So now you understand, when a younger woman smiles at you, it's often more than a fleeting gesture. It reflects a deeper recognition of something rare. Maturity, presence, and a calm strength that only comes with age and experience. That smile? It's not about youth, it's about contrast. She sees something in you that stands out in a sea of noise. Something she's not used to. Something worth noticing. But here's the real takeaway. What matters most isn't the smile itself, it's how you respond to it. A man who knows his worth doesn't freeze. He doesn't overanalyze it to death. He doesn't ask, was that real? Or worry whether he's too old or not her type. Instead, he holds his ground. He trusts his energy. He doesn't let outside noise or outdated social expectations shake his confidence. He simply is. When you move through life with quiet certainty, you stop needing to seek validation. You begin to recognize these moments for what they are: not luck, not coincidence, but reflection. A reflection of what you've become, of the inner strength you carry, of the stability you've earned, of the man you are. So next time a younger woman smiles at you, don't look away, don't shrink, and don't brush it off. Acknowledge it with calm confidence, not with arrogance but with presence, because that smile, it might just be a mirror showing you the power you already hold. Remember, attraction isn't just about age. It's about energy. It's about how you carry yourself. And most of all, it's about how comfortable you are in your own skin. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself dismissing a younger woman's smile, only to wonder later if it meant something more? Have you experienced this kind of attention and overlooked it? Drop your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and learn from each other. And if this message resonated with you, if it sparked a new awareness, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss future content on relationships, confidence, and inner power. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest signals carry the deepest meaning. Stay grounded, stay confident, and keep walking with quiet strength.